It was a lovely day here in Everhart Park, and I just unhauled a book at the little free library, and it's called The Mirror and the Lamp by M.H. Abrams. M.H. Abrams was a giant. His expertise was in the Romantic period, British Romanticism, but Romanticism of all kinds. He really was a giant. He was maybe the founding editor or the general editor of the Norton Anthology of Literature. And also he edited a great glossary of literary terms that I think is still in print and still widely used today. It's my favorite glossary of literary terms. He taught at Cornell University. He lived to be over 100 years old. He only died a few years ago, I think. And just one of the top literary critics of his generation. I would put him up there with people like Northrop Frye. Anyway, The Mirror and the Lamp is a book about romantic theory and literary criticism. It's a history of ideas book. It's a book I've always meant to read ever since college, when my English Lit survey course professor recommended it. I just wanted to share a few more thoughts about M.H. Abrams. The Mirror and the Lamp is a good book, but it's an overwhelming book. It took me a long time to finish reading it. It's very scholarly. It's super well researched. He looked into like every philosopher and poet and literary critic of the Enlightenment into the sort of neoclassical age, into the Romantic age, and it's just very comprehensive. But because of that, it's very detailed and it's very overwhelming. It's hard to absorb it all and see the forest through the trees a little bit. But he does a great job of kind of exploring, the organicism of Romantic theory and how it departs from the age that preceded it. And I learned a lot from it, but more in just kind of a soaking up way. It's not a whole lot that I can like parrot back to you from it. But I'm glad I read it, but I'm also glad I finished it. And it's not a keeper. I think the book that I still will want to keep by him, which I think overall is maybe a better book as a book, is Natural Supernaturalism, and also about Romanticism. That is just another major work. And a little aside about M.H. Abrams, I said that he lived to be over 100. When I was in the mid-'80s, when I was searching for grad schools to apply to, my father and I took a short trip up to New York State, and we looked at Syracuse, and we also looked at Cornell. And M.H. Abrams taught at Cornell. And I remember going into the English department building, I think it's called Goldwyn Smith Hall, and walking past M.H. Abrams' office. He was not there at the time. This was during the summer. But I was very reverent, because this is the guy that edited my Norton Anthology of English Literature, this was the guy who had the glossary of literary terms that I relied on to write all my papers. And I knew he was a big deal, and I felt sort of humbled just to be in like the presence of a great academic like that, even though I didn't even get to meet him. And I didn't get accepted at Cornell. That was a reach school for me. Not Ivy League material, folks, not Ivy League material. But I should have applied to Syracuse, because this was the same age that George Saunders would have been going to Syracuse as a student. I might have become friends with George Saunders, and who knows what would have happened. But I didn't even apply to Syracuse for some reason. I had a good MFA program, but story for another day. But yeah, it was, yeah, I think I'm glad I finally got around to The Mirror and the Lamp. But it's a book that I don't need on the shelves anymore. I can always get it out of the library if I need to refer to it. Yeah, so it's in the little free library now. I hope some English major or former English major lights up when they see it. They probably don't even talk about M.H. Abrams anymore in English departments in grad school, for all I know. Times have really changed. But he was the real deal. There's no doubt about it. So that's my Unhaul video for today. Hope you all are well. Hope to see you again soon.